Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to TimeToPlay.com's Empower Half Hour. The Time to Play Foundation is a 501 not-for-profit corporation that I came up with a new tagline today, the land of the pre. And what the massive goal of our organization is to help people love their life and become empowered and pre-invent. We actually have a program, Pre-Invent Your Life. If you go on timetoplay.com, you'll be able to see some information about that. So much of our life is spent or focuses on recovery and reinvention. Recovery from anything, recovery from having a bad experience or a bad job or who knows. And so what we want to do here is become empowered and help each other to become empowered. So my name is Guma. I'm 50 years old. I am a certified professional life coach. I've worked in healthcare for almost 30 years. And as I've experienced in my life, I've seen things become harder, more sick, more sad, more depression, and I don't think that we have to live our life that way. So if you go again on timetoplay.com, TimeToPlay.com, there's a lot of information there, and we're been creating a hub of resources for people to love life. So today's topic is loving yourself and all that you are, and I think this is one of the hardest things that we can do. If you stood in front of a mirror and you tried to say, I love you, I think that people will feel maybe that's a little bit difficult for them to do. So basically, what we want to do is really look at what do we love in our life, what is positive in our life, even if everything seems like the worst ever. Personally, it's not. Personally, there's so much promise. There's so much to offer. There's so much beauty in each of our lives, but sometimes we just get so overwhelmed and we really can't see it. So what I'd love for people to start to do is to really look where they are in their life, where they are in their life. And hopefully you're pleased, and if you're not, every day is a new day, and every day is a day to start over, and every moment of every day is a day to start over. Not reinventing us, because every one of us is amazing and special, but pre-inventing the next moment. So if we look at what we're grateful for, anything. Could be that the sun rises in the morning, or that you have a favorite tree, or that you love to take a walk down the block, or that you like the color pink. It could be anything. And so if we look at things that we could be grateful for, no matter how small, as we start to see gratefulness in our life, then hopefully we'll start to love our life more. And again, every day is a gift, and I know sometimes life becomes so overwhelming that it seems more like a chore, and maybe it's not a gift, but it's a lot of stuff that I've been looking at and doing lately. So for people that might know, I do live on Long Island, and we have been found to be the most expensive place to live in the entire United States. 1 in 35 houses are in foreclosure here where we live. And you might say, oh, that's terrible, and I should be horrified, and, we should have sadness, but also hope and beauty. And, when we look at stuff like this, it gives us opportunities to make things better, and working together, we can absolutely do that. So that's kind of part of the goals behind the pre-invention idea. So in April of last year, we did a survey 727 high school students, 9th through 12th grade, voluntarily answered out of a possible 1,131. So that was a really great sample size of people that answered. And what they say is it's statistically significant. So there were enough people in that survey that answered to make it, sort of representative of the whole. And one of the questions that was the most important skill. So it's the survey, and you could go on time2play.com, and on the right side you'll see Pre-Invent Your Life. There's a whole article about it and what we did, and the survey is there itself as well. So I did like 3 years of research looking at the best self-help gurus, and like Dr. Norman Vincent Peale in the book The Power of Positive Thinking, and took things out of there, wrote that these were things that were important. So he was just an example, but a lot of different people: Napoleon Hill, Esther Hicks. A lot. So for 3 years, I read, I researched, looked for things that people maybe would benefit from, and asked the kids, 9th through 12th grade, out of all of the things that you know, and not to say that you don't have the skill, reflecting on your life up to this point in your life, what do you think were the most important, or are the most important things that you would need to know so that you can have a better life, or that somebody in the future would have a better life? And one of the things that we had put in the survey was how to be happy as myself. And that actually became the number one response, how to be happy as myself. And I was most surprised about that. I know that in my past life, I can say that I was probably not happy with myself a lot. And now, and that's why we're one of the driving forces I have behind this project. What can we do to get people to love their life longer? How can we get people to be happy, healthy, have money, work-life balance? That's a time to play philosophy. What can we offer to people to spark them to make their life the best thing it can ever be? But how to be happy as myself, being that response, really shocked me a little bit, because, I fully get it. And then I started to realize that this was such a gift, asking these people, what do you need? What do you think? And how many people ever ask us anything, which is another thing too. But if we're happy as ourselves, we're going to have the best life ever, because we're not going to pick up self-destructive behavior. We're not going to hurt ourselves. We're not going to fall into that trap that so many of us, and I personally, had partaken in our life. There's a whole lot about the heroin crisis and recovery and all that's out there now, or alcohol, looking towards helping people recover. But if we love ourselves, if we're happy as ourselves, I really think we're going to protect ourselves. I don't think that we're going to be in that same situation. And if I knew then what I know now, again, that's the name of our book, I think I would have done things a lot differently in my younger years. Not to say I ever had a tremendously bad life. If you read the book, you'll see there was a very negative life experience that I did experience. My father left us when I was 17 years old, and we had, oh my goodness, we could have been homeless. And, I paid the mortgage, and, that's how we made it. And my grandpa paid the other mortgage, and that's how we made it. And it was hard. And things could have went the opposite way. But thankfully, everything turned out and everybody is fine. My sisters and my brother are all good now. But, if I knew then what I know now, maybe I would have not have let things affect me as much. So how to be happy as myself. 90.65% of the students responded that this was the most important skill to have so that they can have, or anybody would have, an enjoyable life experience. So I think that that's something very important to consider. Again, the survey is all on there on the website, timesofplay.com. So if you want to read how we did it and the top 10, one of the next one is how to be myself. And how to be myself is another, because I was having this discussion with my daughter today. She's 20, and she was mentioning about the Kardashians. And, our society emulates these celebrities that sometimes are not necessarily the healthiest that we should put on a pedestal. And, Kim Kardashian apparently lost her earring in the water at the beach. And she was horrified and upset about it. And, I don't know why we would say, wow, this person is a role model. I'm not really sure that that's valid, but that's judgment. So I'm not judging her, and she's who she is, and she's whatever, hopefully happy as being who she is. And, each of us has to be happy being who we are. And that's so important, as part of this loving yourself component and being happy in life in general. The next most highest responses for the survey was learning from my mistakes. So how to learn from my mistakes. People repeat things over and over again. In the book I wrote, History Will Repeat Itself If We Let It. And I try to be aware of that now. Again, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have done things different. Maybe relationship, finding the same type of relationship that's not necessarily the best for us. And over finding that same type of person, or not doing something that we should. Learning from our mistakes is extremely important so that we can sort of save ourselves some time. Make myself happy in a healthy way. And that's the fourth most important finding from the 9th through 12th grade kids, students. So make myself happy in a healthy way. And I think that that's also a very important thing to consider. When I was young and we did good, we went and got ice cream. We went to a concert, we got ice cream. We were in a play, we got ice cream. We rewarded ourselves with food. And I think that could be kind of dangerous if we put into perspective that we are healthy. We're happy when we're eating, or we're happy when we're smoking, or we're happy when we're drinking wine, or we're happy when. So instead, what can make you happy in a healthy way? So put that into consideration. Ask yourself. Sometimes it's important to stop and kind of evaluate what we're doing and why we're doing it, and look for. There's a thing called the root cause, and everything stems from a root cause. A car accident, there was a root cause, or an experience that we had, or a feeling that we have. Something is always behind. Just continue asking why, until you can figure out what is the reason behind. Recognize my potential. And honestly, that's something that even at 50 years old, every day I learn a little bit more about what am I capable of doing? What is my potential? What can I achieve? What do I want to achieve? And the strengths. If you Google strength surveys of strengths, not Dun and Bradstreet. Oh, I can't think of the name of the police. There's this one organization that does all these polls, tons of polls, but they do have a great strength survey. But it's not just so much learning what is your strength, but actually then taking what you learned and applying them to your current life and your life situation, and how can you use that to move forward and have even a better experience as you go. So recognizing your potential, finding what you're good at, seeing the things that you could accomplish, and start small. Everything that we do or think here at the Time to Play Foundation is, if you make one small change, you have such the potential to make your life better and better, amazingly better. So I think that that's important to consider. Finding out, what are you good at? What do you love to do? What will make you happiest in the entire world? The next finding was get more sleep. And I think that that's pretty funny in our society nowadays. Like, people brag, I think, about what they live on, like, oh, I only slept an hour last night, I only slept 4 hours last night. Well, sleep is important, and there's been all sorts of studies. That's all Googleable if anybody's interested, with social media and computers and Facebook. Oh my gosh, always on Facebook. We're always plugged in, and sometimes that's sleep deprivation. Sometimes we have something bothering us, and that stops us from sleeping. So then we have to go back and look for that root cause and try to figure out what we can do to make that go away. I actually went to a class yesterday. I'm a forever learner, and if I could find the email, I learned a information about a mantra that was started, oh my gosh, hundreds of years ago in Hawaii. It was called like the Ho'oponopono. And of course, while I'm going to try to tell you about it, it's going to be hard for me to recite it. I'm gonna pull it up, and I will get it so that I don't do it wrong. But it's just a very interesting concept, and it's a forgiving, not just of myself. None of us are perfect, but it's a forgiving of a person who might be hurting me, or a person who maybe did wrong to me, or a person that makes me upset, or a person that maybe insulted me or something. So I found it on the internet because I wanted to look it up, but it's called the Ho'oponopono, Ho'oponopono. And there was some interesting stuff on this one article I was reading where this man actually did the I got to reread this, Ho'oponopono prayer over incarcerated criminals. And he never had met them, but he took their information and he did this thing that they wrote in this article called cleaning. He sat in his office and reviewed each of the inmates' charts. And he said this over them, and the people started to cure. There's energy in each of us, and there's power in each of us. And I think where we direct that energy is very important sometimes. So this is the Ho'opono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And you're supposed to say this at least 5 times. And I actually had this all day long. I was doing it. I had meetings today. And before I went to the meetings, I said it so that I would have good experience at the meetings. And everything was a very nice day today. So it's, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And basically this is discussing that when you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, we're focusing on the positive. So this is what this article says. If your goal is to focus on the positive, on those things that produce satisfaction, meaning serenity and joy, and you notice that you had been lost in replaying an argument you had with someone, or that you're wrapped in images of hurt, criticism, complaint, or blame, you can refocus by repeating, I'm sorry, please forgive me, from your heart until you feel peace. thank you, I love you. Then, as peace enters you and you are genuine in asking for forgiveness, peace will indeed enter. You can respond to it with, thank you, I love you. Your thanks is for the gift of recognizing the negative thought and the relief that came when you chose to apologize for it. Your love is an appreciation for choosing to let go of the negative, to embrace the healing, the cleansing of it from your mind, and with your sincere utterance of gratitude and love, you set off a wave of joy. We are responsible for everything we see, think, notice, hear, and feel, and it is a creation of our own mind. So if we stop having those memories from the past, and this I thought was just very kind of cool. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Because if we forgive that person, then we're free. And this is something I've experienced in my life as well. Remember I said my dad left. I literally held hatred for him for, oh my gosh, almost 30 years. And I actually did forgive him. It's a long story. But, taking this person that hurt you and instead of blaming them for the poor quality of something in your life, saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It's a release, and it's worth to try. It's worth to try. I kind of think it's got some potential here. So I'm going to continue to try this and see how this works for me for the next couple of days. And hopefully it's, again, something that I will value forever in the rest of my life. Keep going when you want to give up. That was another one of the top responses. That was the seventh. You know what? In this Time to Play Foundation, and I've worked on this for 5 years. The foundation has only been around since July of 2014, and how many people have told me it's not possible, and how much it had actually put me back from actually moving forward, and sort of became static for a little while. And, do I want to keep going? Do I want to not keep going? Sometimes if you can keep going when you want to give up, you start to see progress, beauty, amazing things happen. So that's something to consider. The eighth one, develop confidence. And that's one of the things in our Be Extraordinary program. Everyone can be extraordinary. So how do you have self-confidence, self-worth, self-love, self-esteem, and self-empowerment? And it's all, if we notice, everything is self. And we are so powerful, each and every one of us. And developing confidence is important. We need to just tap into that inner power. We need to know how powerful we are. And knowing how powerful we are, we will never not have confidence, because we absolutely are super, super powerful. Knowing I am valuable, and that's something that's really important. Everyone has something to offer that can help someone else. Sometimes we just have to take a moment to stop and figure out what that is. We each give value to everything in our day, in our life. I say this a lot, and it's very interesting. So just picture a healthcare facility, because everybody's gone to the doctor or going to a hospital at some point, and I've worked in hospitals for a long time. But just picture a healthcare facility. Imagine that there's no chef. Imagine there's no person delivering trays. Imagine that there's no housekeeper. Imagine that there's nobody answering the telephone. Imagine there's no department manager. Imagine there's no nurse. Every single person, the whole. So know I am valuable. Everyone is valuable. We each contribute something in our own way to this world and to our family and to our work environment. Know we are valuable. We do provide incredible value but sometimes we don't realize. We don't think we're good enough. And that's very hurtful to ourselves. And our self-talk is extremely important. And we have to learn when to stop and not listen. The last most important of the top 10 in our grades, in our 9 through 12 grades here, was make positive changes. This was the top 10. Make positive changes. And that's kind of important. That's kind of this whole discussion, how we've, I've kind of been rambling on here. Cailyn was supposed to call in, and Stacy and Jackie, and everybody had something and wound up out. But as we would have been discussing all these different things, but the make positive changes, they know I talk about that a lot. Like with us to, again, recognize that it's our choice on how we're going to react to something, and recognize that it's our choice on how we can change something in our life experience. So we can choose a healthy way of being happy. We can choose to find ways to move forward. We can choose to look at what we have as a goal. And this is something I tell people to try to do. Make a little chart. And what is something that you wish? What is your goal? What is something that you want to accomplish in your life? And then make a list of what is at your disposal right now to do it. So let's say, I don't know, just popped into my head. It's a really stupid example. I want to make shoes. All right, I don't want to make shoes, but what if you want to make shoes? Okay, so I want to make shoes. So this is our goal, right? So in our life at this very moment, what do we have at our disposal? What can we do so we can make shoes? Do we know people that can give us materials? Do we know a place where we can recondition something? Do we know, all right, it's a really bad example. What is in our experience at this very moment that can help us to move ahead in that goal? So if you put in your list all of the possible available options. All right, let's pick a different one. I want to be a makeup artist. That's the next better example, not the best example probably, but maybe there's people out there that actually want to be a makeup artist more than want to make shoes. So what is at your disposal at this very moment? Can you go to a neighborhood drugstore and see if you can learn from somebody that's a makeup artist there? Can you go to a beauty salon? Can you, again, make a list. What is at your disposal right now? Is there a school that's local? Is there a place where you can learn tips and tools and techniques, and put your options. What is the best? What is your list? Anything in your list. And then what is the one thing that you could choose to make that first step? So positive changes and momentum and moving forward and getting unstuck, it's not that hard when we break it down. If we look at things as a whole, sometimes it's more overwhelming. And so if we make that list and we say, okay, this is what I want, this is some stuff that I could possibly do, anything, put it all on there, and this is my best choice for right this second to move ahead. So that's the ways that we can look at for things to become more aware of how to have a better life, how to love myself, how to be happy, maybe make a change in our health, or maybe make a change in our job if we want to. It's up to us to make a change start. And I don't believe anybody should be stuck in a negative situation. I think that it is always us and our choice. It might seem really, really hard, I'm not saying, but it's our choice to make that beginning, that choice to make things start to move forward and to change. We could stay where we are, or we can move forward, and we can become more and more powerful in ourselves. So with that, I'm going to end this today. I hope that this might have been helpful. We'd love to hear from you. If you please call 631-331-2675. Give me a call. My name is Doreen. You can email info@timetoplay.com, info@timetoplay.com. Please go on the website, timetoplay.com. Check out some information that we have. If you have anything to contribute, please let me know. If you have any specific topics that you'd like for the podcasts, please let me know. If you would like to run a podcast, please let me know. The Time to Play Foundation is a not-for-profit corporation with the mission and purpose to enrich the lives of others through programs, public awareness, outreach activities, events, and learning opportunities that further the concepts of enjoying life. And we do have people that do contribute to our organization so that we can make all of this stuff possible in our research. So just please also visit special offers from my donors, and maybe there's somebody that you can let them know that the Time to Play Foundation sent you. So hope everybody has a great week, and we'll be back next week. Hopefully I'll have my team with me. And I appreciate everybody and hope, you learn something that can help you love life. Have a great night. It is time to play. It's time to love your life. Thank you so much.